Good afternoon, everyone. I came through to bring a little bit of afternoon cheer, just briefly, of course, because I'm running a bit late for my tasks. I just had a theory, a brief theory that, well, I guess it's not necessarily a theory. Well, I said it's a theory, but it's actually something that I heard before, so it's not necessarily my theory. Uh, Now, there's a premise that said that I guess it's underneath the code in which I attempt to abide by, where it says that two black men should not get together except for the purpose of solving problems. Because when two black men get together just to get together, it's generally something that leads to an argument or something that is non-constructive. So I took that to consider that to the group into a larger group theory. I mean, because people may classify themselves as African American, black, people of color, Negro, or other terminology. But the thing about that is that there different distinctions. For example, so this one group may practice this particular political ideology. They may be have a certain level of education, may hang in a certain social circle. Did I say religion? They may practice a certain form of religion, or just different forms of creeds, and they do different types of things. But they're all underneath, because when you add all these people, African American, black, Negro, people of color, for the most part, it's anybody that has a certain quotient of melanin in their skin and has certain characteristics. So, my thing is okay. Rodney King said, why can't we just all get along, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, well, we have those people that always speak about unity, but then as soon as there's a disagreement within the unified group, whether it may be a disagreement of opinion or something of that nature, instantly there must be a back and forth, an argument, because if it's not a discussion, because in order for it to be a discussion, it would have to be done in the spirit of having a constructive result. Most of the times, the back and forth, i.e., the arguments that I see between different it's like ideologies or thought processes or opinions of African American, black, Negro, people of color, people. Sometimes it just seems to be just pedantic. Pedantic might be a bit much. Just seems like bullshit. Just put it like that. And and when we spend our time going back and forth in situations and circumstances like that, that tends to waste time. So the most important things that you have in order to build up your economics, in order to make things, let's say, for example, your food, clothing, and shelter, your economics. The most important things that you must utilize in building your economics is your time and your energy. So when you're wasting your time, your mental and your physical energy going back and forth with someone over something that is, for the most part, bullshit, you tend not to focus on the things in which you need to focus on in your particular circle or group. Things that you should be doing for yourself. So it's like, well, if you know that you have say, for example, and I'm going to use something that's contemporary. A contemporary argument is going on now, how the certain section of African American, black, dark melanated people claim that we are we are Jews, and while there are other, there's some people black people that say we are Christians, and there's some people that say, well, I'm spiritual. I don't go along too much with the doctrine, the ideology aspect. I go with God's Spirit. I follow what God's Spirit will lead me to do. So if you have these group people together, they may tend to get into a situation, circumstance where they may argue about these things. And that is a waste of time. So in my mind, I say, well, why not these people tend to group it within their own interests? Although we're all underneath the group of melanated people, They could drift toward their own in particular interests. They don't have to be contentious against each other. They're working on their own interests. But meanwhile, we have concurrent or connecting interests also as well. Like, say, for example, industry, food, clothing, shelter, politics, education, labor law. All these things which have to be done together in a group effort and form. So while we're building these things up in our individual groups, and even as small as our own households, because a lot of times we want to go out and save the world, and our household is fucked up. Our families, not necessarily the family in your household, the family outside your extended family. When you talk about unifying, come together, why is it such a big issue? Why is it so difficult to deal with those things first, but trying to without going into an overreach? But that's just what I had. I'm running short of time. I just want to come on, divide and thrive. Is there a way where we could segregate or separate amongst ourselves and become the best of ourselves and individuals and in individual groups, and then somehow work together and come together in a constructive manner? Because if you can't come together constructively, not for arguing and bullshitting, if you can't come together constructively, then there's no need to come together at all. Peace and love.